Thareja is an ex-professor and the head of the Department of Metallurgy in the Punjab Engineering College. Now it is PC Institute of Technology, Chandigarh. And right now he is working as the Director Principal of the Riyadh Institute of Engineering Technology, Information Technology at Gopad in Punjab. Professor Thareja has done a lot of ISO audits, more than 1,000 audits he has done. He's a lead auditor. He trains the lead auditors also. So we have invited him to take a combination of two sessions. One is on the ISO 9000, the clauses and the documentation, and then the audits, internal external audits. So with these very few words, I welcome Thareja sir. So you are welcome, and I request him to start this session. And I have a small request for all the centers, please, if you can hear me. You see, the next session in the afternoon is on the self-assessment report. So I request all of you to please get a copy downloaded from the website of NBA and circulate amongst the participants. Because when the speaker comes from the league, he will discuss the things, one by one. So you can please, download. You can distribute a copy to all the participants before the lunchtime. Thank you so much.
Good morning, all of you. Good morning. I'm going to talk about ISO 9000 primarily, and we'll talk in the context of education also. To talk about me, my competency to the purpose of taking this lecture. ISO 9000, we definitely are interested to know and ensure that we meet the requirements of the standard in everything whatever we do. It is with respect to the customer's perspective, it is with respect to requirements, customer requirements, and it is also with respect to the overall objective of the organization, the vision of the organization, and we need to strategically align them together to the global purpose. That is, global means not physically, but global means conceptually global purpose. The overall purpose of the objective of the organization, of the work which we do. So, from the class 6.2.2, which we'll later talk about in shorter details, is competency requirements. And we need to have in class 6.2.1 the other competency, and 6.2.2 the competency of the faculty, the competency of the teacher who teaches. I was teaching at UBS as a guest faculty, Punjab University. Given to understand, given to talk about this quality management in ISO 9000, and when the standard had transformed from 1994 version to the 2000 version, the class 6.2.2 came into the new structure. And I learned that I don't have the competency to teach that class until I'm a myself auditor. That enthused me to take up this lead auditor's program, study this program, get graduated, and at the same time, so that's why I could become competent to talk about this. The same standard got again new modification in 2008. The standard gets its next revision in about 7 years' time. 87, then 94, 2008, 94, 2000, 2008, and the next one is due in 2015. So I have a few transparencies talk about the changes in 2015, which is going to show a substantial change. Then I am a part of the working group for the education management standard, requirements for education. That is called ASQ. It is developed by ASQ and ISO, and this is currently under consideration by ISO. It is going to be incorporated as a standard, as a regular standard for education management. We have standards for everything: telecommunication TL, automobile QS, that is quality systems. We have a standard for aeronautical AS and simple ISO. So all are virtually corollaries of ISO 9000 standard. The QS, of course, quality systems. It has been specialized in PS TS16949. That standard is retitled, and so this is how we have these standards transformed. Standards numbered into various categories. And in education also we have education management standard. It is named as Z1.11. So I'm a part of the authors, part of the writers group. We are 2 people from India. Another one is Dr. Todani is a principal of Maritime Research Institute near Pune. And then I have been experienced. I've done some audits in NBA, ISO 9000, ISO 14000, and I'm also TS 16749 Tier 3, and at the same time I've done some training programs for ISO 18000, safety management standard, safe for ONGC, etc. I was instrumental in initiating total quality management as a subject in engineering colleges and management programs. That was in '96. I formulated a course on METQA, Total Quality Engineering and Management. This is a hybrid interdisciplinary program running at PEC University in Thareja. So again, some of the things have been done first time in the world. I was a auditor for integrated management system, again first time in the world. It's first time in India. That was a company at Alapura in South India. And at the same time, I was first in India in teaching a course on ISO 9001-2008. The topic of the workshop here is total quality management and NBA accreditation and ISO 9000. Now we try to compare which one is where, which one is better, which one is supreme. I personally feel that the total concept, the global concept, the bigger concept is total quality management, because we need quality everywhere. Total means everywhere, across the organization, across all people, across all processes, across all systems, and total quality management. And then we are interested in the ISO 9000 standard. Comparing between ISO 9000 and NBA, the purposes are different. ISO 9001 is process focused, NBA is outcome focused. But at the same time, we look at that if we don't have processes, if we have only outcomes, you see, multiply 2 by 2 is equal to 4. I may have heard it yesterday, something, may have heard some people talking, may have experienced it, may have crammed it, right? But it is not. It will not confirm that there is no multiplication. So I can make 2 into 2 4, but I may not know multiplication. But if I know the multiplication of 2 multiplying 2, that means add 2 times. If I understand the process, then it will become global. It will become understandable. It will become extrapolatable. To whatever way I want to use it. This is how I differentiate NBA and the ISO 9000. ISO 9000 is having a bigger format. I think that ISO 9000 is even bigger than total quality management. Though we have no absolutely hard and fast rule to specify that. But in ISO 9000, now I give you an example. Somebody climbs a Mount Everest. This article is available in internet. I mean, under my name, if you search it, Spiral and Thareja, if you search it, you'll get it. This posted at SSRM. You climb up Mount Everest, highest peak in the world, right? You climb up Mount Everest and you come down and say, well, I've done it. The ISO 9000 auditor will say that you do like this, you take 4 clots of earth over there, spill it on the top of it, spill it on the peak, and then write again, then climb up again. Because until continuous improvement is set in, your process is not complete. And he says, "Upar mitti to jane se truck jayega nahi." I know you cannot, the truck cannot drive up to that place. It's all mountainous, snowy, and you have to climb with all kind of tools. So he says, okay, take a helicopter. It will drop the earth over there, and you do it. Because it has to set in the process of clause 8.5.1, continuous improvement. And until continuous improvement is integrated into the process, quality doesn't come. Quality is continual improvement. It is one of the criteria. It is one of the requirements. It is not specified in MBA. Of course, you bring the things over there. MBA, I mean, the learning from TQ, I mean, the learning from ISO 9000 is MBA. The people who are, the purpose of MBA is also to improve the quality. Let's say it is a National Board of Accreditation, and Board of Accreditation is concerned in improving the quality of education. That's how we got interested in. And when the whole purpose is, assuring the processes so that the quality gets into the system right first time, every time. So let's see what we get in normal scenario. A process is being explained. The first figure is, you tell the customer, you tell the supplier, what do you want? He wants a jhula, he wants a swing, and in that he is a assertive one. Okay, I must have a plank there, which is worthy to make, which will facilitate someone to sit and must sit comfortably. It is important because you will not fall down. It must be secure, and it must maybe removable or not. So this is the kind of requirement, and emphasizes on the plank more than the rope. And the project leader understands that, okay, I must have a rope, I must put a plank. And the analyst designs it. He says, now, since he finds that the swing must move, so it must move through the tree rather than this is what is being taught, and then must have supports. So he must be put 2 or more supports to the tree. And the programmer did not put that into hanging position. It was all loose. The business consultant, he is always business consultant is always eager to offer more than what is expected in order to sell, in order to market. Documentation was lacking, 0 documentation. So anybody said verbal word of mouth is always distorted. And again, the operations were installed, and it was all rope. The plank was missing. The customer was built like seesaw and big things, and it was not supported by any documentation, any quality assurance, whatever, no standards. The last slide shows that what was wanted. It was an obstacle course, a swing type, and any other things first or the last one. So your purpose is not served until the documentation is proper. So the emphasis on documentation in the case of the standard, you have to specify the requirements very well. The requirements must be specified, the documentation must be proper, and everything has to be monitored right at every place. If you find a mistake there, suppose in the first instance the customer explained it, and the supplier has not understood properly, if it is not confirmed, if the confirmation is like that, may have mistakenly taken as the couple of more planks than required, those things are getting corrected. So the process essentially in correction, prevention, and ultimately the aligning to the global requirements. That is the objective. So this is how. And in academics, we need the same thing. Are we concerned about a customer? The customer says something, we don't understand them, we are in a hurry to teach. And the students are not aligned, they are not focused. So this is what happens. And when we talk of quality, student is a teacher's customer. This is in some paper. I read it and I did not, at that time, think of using it somewhere, but it is a very common kind of statement that this customers are students. Our customers are students. The parents also, but the students are direct customer. Students are all things for us. The student is the worker who on a lathe. The student is turning the job. So student is a product also because student is being turned by us. Student themselves are understanding their learning. Consolidating the learning. So student is the person operator. Student is almost everything. So student is when the student is a customer in a formal process, which NB also agrees and ISO 9000 also states. And when we say this customer, it is, the mentality is like this, customer. And we are not cared whether the student is understanding, student is putting the problem. We don't make our lectures interesting. We make our lectures so boring that the students are really bored up in the class and they're sleepy. And what happens is, if you not teach well, then the process is faulty. Process is faulty, and if the process is faulty, the outcomes are going to be faulty. MBA. If the process is faulty, again the students in the process is going to be useless because the students are not going to learn anything. They will resort to cramming. This is what is happening in India, and their ultimate quality is going to be bad. So this is what we get, and we must be very concerned about this. And if you are interested in total quality management, then quality doesn't come. Total quality is different. Total quality is far off. So we have to first look at, is the process okay? And if the process is okay, then we conform to the ISO 9000 requirement. If the process is okay, then the outcome must be okay. And if the outcome is okay, then it leads to MBA. And if outcome is okay, then everything should be okay. Then we can travel to the global purpose, higher level purpose, and consider that our students are actually responding to the industry, have lifelong learning capabilities. They can respond to the societal requirements, ethical requirements. So it's a global purpose. Now, we want them to be citizens of tomorrow, take over the reins of the ecological sustainable world as on tomorrow. So that is the global purpose. So this is how we look at, and of course, in order to ensure that the process is okay, we have to ensure that we have to set up the processes well, and we have to audit the processes, and we have to validate that the process outcome will be that the process is okay. So we have to set up the processes, we have to set up the systems, we have to understand the requirements and keep the requirements royally assured. We have to design the processes so that the requirements are implicit. Requirements are achieved without effort. And then we must be able to give, what you call, give agreeable, auditable kind of a system, set in a system so that we can give conformity, with confidence that the processes work to give the right outcome. So that's the difference between NBA and ISO 9000. If your organization is ISO 9000 oriented, with a bit of accumulation of more data and right kind of documentation or NBA, you're sure to qualify that process. It's like this, for just talk about environmental conformance. Somebody, pollution control board people would be visiting an organization for the conformance of, let's say, 14,000 environment, and has a lot of ambitions and skepticism, doubts in the mind. But the moment one sees that ISO 14,000 certified organization, or the moment you see ISO 9000 qualified certified organization, your perspective before you enter the gates changes. You now are positive, you now are optimistic that you're going to find something good. I mean, at least they're not going to be that bad. Because ISO 9000, because people have misused it by giving certificates without auditing and all in the competitive race. So it is sadly relegated in terms of reputation, but believe me, the standard is perfect, and the standard, if you implement in the right perspective, then of course it's better than TQM, right? When I was talking about the mountaineering example, and Mount Everest example, you climb the highest peak, and you are still not satisfied. You must put some earth over there, over the peak, raise it by a few meters, again climb it. Look at the process. How was Mount Everest formed? Rocks strike together, raise up. So continuously the process going up, and the height of the Mount Everest is rising up every day, every moment. Maybe in terms of steps, because It is the rock movement process. And if the Earth has also mandated the highest climb must raise its height every now and then. So it is very common, it's very natural that isolarization process should continue to assure that your performance is improved, and your process and performance is improved, and quality outcomes are improved, and they become better and better every day, every moment. We call it, there are two things, two words, continual and continuous. If it happens every moment, we call it continual. We call it continuous. And if you want a process to be said, of course, happens in stages, happens in intervals, but indefinitely applied, ever sustaining. No ever sustaining. Absolutely, it is not going to culminate anytime. So it will be called continual. So it becomes a sort of a journey which is continuous. And so this is how. Some people who talked about quality Margaret Thatcher says, I do not know much about quality, but I'm sure of one thing: if quality is good, people will come back. If quality is not good, no, people will not come back. The products will come back, because then people will crib that ये क्या दे दिया आपने, चलता ही नहीं है. So the second one, quality is never an accident. It is always a result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and it represents the wise choice of many alternatives. And Martin Luther King said, if I cannot do great things, then I must do small things in a great way. Right? Things, doing good things right and doing right things. And Martin Luther King also said that even if you sweep the streets, it must be appreciated. Everybody must say that, oh, what wonderful cleanliness has been consummated. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets, even as a Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of the heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. So the moral is that one must be able to do the job very well, that there is appreciation. There is quality everywhere, there is quality in every action you do. It may even be to the extent of this. For students, again, Edward Deming says, learning is not compulsory. Neither is survival. Who says you must live? But if you live, we have to live with dignity. And learning is one which gives you the dignity. And well, I add to it. Learning is not compulsory, neither is survival. 16 years of education and still can't read Bible. I write poetry, so I write it like this. I always write meaningful poetry, try to do meaningful poetry. 16 years of education and still can't read Bible. After doing engineering, people don't know anything. Our students cannot read really good English also. Still can't read Bible, pays the stakeholder, missing to grow up while being simply older. You grow in age, but don't grow in mind. Learning is complex, and as beauty as in the eyes of beholder, one and one are simply two unless soldered. So it is cramming, one and one are two, and it could be one. And I can prove that 1 + 1 could be anything. 1.25 लाख से एक लड़ाऊं तभी गोविंद नाम का हूं. तो 1.25 लाख एक 1.25 लाख है. 1 + 1 is 2.5 lakh. And 1 + 1 could be 0. I want to go left, the other one wants to go right. So we get confused. And so 1 + 1 could be 2 mathematically. 1 + 1 could be 11 synergistically. We have to say it like this, And so we need to implement quality in such a way that the synergy, that the outcome of the sums of contributors should be always larger, not less. then the 2 individually. How do we define TQM? Things like which are mandatory: conformance, prevention, customer focus, and continual improvement. Customer focus is student focus, and continual improvement is continual and continuous. This is what I just said. So you need to step in improvement. You need to exercise, need to add up improvement. So this is how we're going to add up into the system. And when we are through to the quality away from total quality to the quality management system, then we bring control on a higher level. That is, we don't want to exercise our control. We want to set up the processes so that it is autogeneous. They work automatically, and like a remote control, like automatic program, which will give rise to automatic operations, autopilot, and all those kind of things. So we need to set up processes like auto control. And in auto control, we are concerned about product reliability summaries, or documentation wise. And then we must control our scrap, rework, and repair works, and prepare the summaries also. We must monitor the cost of quality, and then we must look at the conformances and non-conformances, and then we have to monitor the suppliers. Now, in our education, we are not monitoring the suppliers. Our suppliers are the parents. Our suppliers are the previous institution. We do work for outreach, but we are probably not very much oriented towards that. And formally defining quality management system, QMS, quality management system is a system implicit where processes give rise to integration, the process integrated to give rise to the kind of deserved output and meeting objectives. And the organization must aim to reduce and eventually eliminate non-conformances, no defects, meet the specifications as per the requirements of the standard, meeting the customer requirement, customer expectation, looking at the customer focus in the cost-effective manner, and at the same time setting in a process of continuous improvement. So these things are there, and so this is how we define the QMS. If you look at the process, non-conformance is customer expectation, cost effectiveness, and reducing and eliminating errors, and of course rework, and then cost-effective manner, cost away. Customer expectations is the stakeholder process is missing here in the defining QMS. This is a formal definition, and not a standard one, of course. I'm going to give you the standard definition of quality later. So what do we look at in terms of we looked at in terms of quality, in terms of TQM, in terms of the ISO 9000 requirements. We integrate them all in all and look at that. Ultimately, we're talking about the same thing. If we are talking of ISO standard is a generic standard. It's applied to anything, pawn shop, BD shop, anything. BD shop, no, because cigarette smoking is injurious to health. So pawn shop, yes. Sweet shop, hospital, academic institutions, everywhere. ISO 9000, manufacturing, service, hotels, everywhere. So ISO 9000 is a generic standard, and the only requirement is that it should conform to the statutory and regulatory requirements. Where something is not socially conforming to statutory and regulatory requirements, then ISO 9000 doesn't come in. That doesn't apply. That is the difference between 94 and the 2000 standard. Before 2000, even a BD shop could have ISO 9000. After that, no. Because you have to first ensure that you are being allowed by the government and these local authorities to meet the requirements. And those requirements, like the Bureau of Indian Standards, mandates that all electrical equipment should be ISI marked, ISI marked. They should be aware. So if an ISO 9000 company is, if an electrical engineering company requires an ISO 9000, they will first ask this question: are you compliant? Do you have the ISI mark? Yes or no? If you have, yes, we are coming. If you no, then we are not coming. We are not coming, or we have to ensure that they possess those capabilities, they fulfill all those requirements, they have already applied their application for the certification, ISI mark. If delay is there, unscheduled delay is there because of some reason, well, you can always update. You can come and audit, and you will give them time that okay, produce the papers till we issue the certificate before that, or produce it, even give them some extension after a verification and approval process, not before that. So this is how it goes. And in MBA, we are still further oriented in terms of education, and the objectives are very clear. It's global. To be a world-class accrediting agency by ensuring highest degree of credibility in assuring of quality and relevance of professional education and come to the expectation of its stakeholders, academician, corporate education institutions, government, industry, regulators, students and their parents. So we want to be the best. We want to bring in excellence in education so that they are suitable for industry, the parents are satisfied, and if they want to go in for higher education, if the government is enrolling them, employing them, they are suitable. So government means ethically, education industry means especially quality oriented jobs, that is lifelong learning, and research potentials or whatever, learning new things, taking on challenges, hard work. When you go in for higher education, development of mind, extrapolation, intuition, innovations, all the things are implicit in the process to bring in excellence, to bring in world class. So this is how, and this will come by a process of accreditation. So process of accreditation should ensure that. Process of accreditation should be qualified. It should be mature, so that it gives you the kind of requirements, it gives you the kind of conformance, and the process, it gets the conformability. And this is what is happening. In the class, teacher is talking and the students are sleeping. And if the students are sleeping, whose fault it is? It is the teacher's fault, because the teacher cannot exert pull. The teacher cannot involve the class. Teacher cannot make it interesting. So the students are woke. They remain wide awake. And some people are definitely interested, looking at the back. But invariably, you would have seen during your education days also, you would have seen that once in a while, if the teacher is boring, sudden sleepiness is possible. And recently there were UGC news that by June 2014, this MBA is mandatory. Right or wrong? Anybody who's read it? Yeah, you have read it. Will it be possible? No. Why?
So to apply is mandatory, but to get is not mandatory.
To apply is mandatory?
Yes.
No, to get is mandatory.
No.
Okay.
To apply. You have to apply.
Minimum you have to apply.
Okay, we will not argue with this. Why? We are on the same boat when we are saying that NPA does not have the infrastructure to conduct the audits of the institutions the way we have. The process itself is not very, very robust at this time. It will become the right kind of auditor should be available. The right kind of teacher should be there. Those who know those who know what are expectations, and that's why Professor Thareja has taken the lead to organize this course, which is very much a requirement of the society and of the education sector, and of all the teachers. Because we have to prepare our institutions for this, and prepare ourselves also, stand to the requirements individually, collectively, institution-wide and nation-wide, so that we can form. And the challenge is very much. The challenge is not simple. It is easier said than done. Anyway, so I talked about this outcome orientation, and you should teach very well. improve your teaching competences, pedagogy, and evaluation techniques, and the thinking at a higher level. These things are very essential, and we need to implement them by improving continually. So by slow steps, we must continue to improve. In order to continue to improve, we must look into these kind of regular impetus, so that we can we are energized time and again. We have to bring in improvement in the course files, assignments, student focus. Then FDBs, workshops and national seminars. Okay, finishing school, that is improving the communication skills, interviewing skills, ability of the students to face interviews and get jobs. Emphasizing sponsored research, consultancy in industry-student interaction, because that also gives you the learning ability, the learning platform in the industry, and again updation of the teacher's knowledge. And individual research, that is sponsored research, and the publishing of papers, etc., so that your own improvement takes place, continual improvement takes place because of involvement. Because in academics, when you become senior, we don't have to spend much time. How do you define a lecture? Light away. How do you define a lecture? पढ़ता है, पढ़ाता है. Assistant professor? पढ़ता नहीं है, पढ़ाता है. Associate professor? Head of the department? पढ़ता नहीं है, पढ़ाता नहीं है. Principal? पढ़ता नहीं है, पढ़ाता नहीं है, पढ़ाने में नहीं देता. So anyway, this is what is happening. So पढ़ता नहीं है, पढ़ाता नहीं है, पढ़ाने में नहीं देता. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हो गई उसमें. तो पढ़ता नहीं है, पढ़ाता भी नहीं है, हेड ऑफ द प्रोफेसर. वो क्या करता है फिर? रिसर्च करता है. अगर रिसर्च नहीं करता फिर नेगेटिव सेंस में आता, पढ़ता नहीं, पढ़ाता नहीं. So obviously you know it, 18, 12 and art. This is how is the 16, 12 and art. This is the loading for the three levels, and of course the loading is with respect to the kind of inputs you have to do in the higher level activities and the lower level activities. And teaching is a lower level activity, it's being considered as a lower level activity, but without it the student performance cannot be there. So there's a case for putting highly qualified teachers for the lower classes and the opposite. The final year students are mature enough because they know they are going to face interview and get the job, so they must learn the subject properly. So even a younger teacher can come and do the job well, but until the basics are inculcated rightly, which is done with the senior teacher, the process will not be very well consummated. So we are concerned in all those things like outcome, proof of great teaching, and then improving the teacher quality, improving students quality, and improving the research quality in the institution, so that the institution earns the brand. And sponsored research, so that there's a direction of growth for the institution, and innovations are very much required. Teaching outside syllabus is being asked for by NBA. Curriculum apart, every day new knowledge comes in. In some of the fields like computer engineering, the half-life of the subject is only maybe 1.5 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. ठीक है, हर 4 साल बाद, हर 3 साल बाद एक नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाती है. मोबाइल फोन में ऐसी नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाती है. Talk of mobile and drinks, and these technologies, they always come with a vengeance, and you have to control the processes, so that control your learning process, so that you always are best of this and the students are best of this. So teaching outside syllabus is very, very important. API monitoring of the individuals, that's academic performance index. Thesis quality, lab activities and research performance, maintenance of the equipment, LCD projectors in each classroom. So these are some of the requirements which are which are done by, which are emphasized by NBA. So in NBA, we have a different format. It has to be done that what is expected, how the institution is, whether the institution is conforming or not, and to what extent are they conforming, unless there are some issues. So you have to talk about all those requirements so that you can give rise to the kind of you can assure the outcome finally. Coming back to quality, we saw some good words from highly acclaimed people, and when quality is achieving common goals, objective, extending up to the global purpose, giving feedback so that we can have continued improvement, evaluation and development so that we assess and audit and assess the process outcomes gradually with respect to match them with respect to objectives and see whether the process is conforming or not, and acting according to common values, societal values, spiritual values also, and participating in the quality work. And all these requirements, they come from the definition of quality. What kind of definition is? Degree to which set of inherent characteristics fulfill the requirements. Inherent characteristics, what are the inherent characteristics of, say, our education? The student performance, student behavior, student prerequisites, they are the inherent characteristics, student attitude, student motivation, and kind of curriculum, again, inherent characteristics of curriculum, how advanced it is, does it integrate the processes, does it extrapolate into societal requirements, environmental consciousness, for example, quality requirements. So, degree to which they conform, this set of requirements are fulfilled with respect to the set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements. Set of requirements are fulfilled with respect to the inherent characteristics. We have to match those things. What is available with me and what do I want? And if there is a gap, and how do I traverse those gaps? Okay? When we are driving, we anticipate the distance. तो लगता है कि यार पहुंचेंगे नहीं टाइम से, we must speed up. ठीक है, थोड़ा बातें कम और काम ज़्यादा. So like this, we have to conform. And if you do that, then we'll be able to set up a process as well. And process will ensure quality, process will ensure outcome. That is the objective. And let's say I'm concerned for the brand of my institute, which is called Gayat Institute of Engineering and Information Technology. If I'm concerned about the brand, so I'm concerned about what? I'm concerned about the start from anywhere. So I start from admissions. I have a good student, and then I have to give good coaching, good teachers. So my teacher must be competent, and if the teachers are competent, performance will be good, and performance will be good, brand will be good, and brand will be good. If performance is good, then placements will be there. I mean, students will get jobs. If jobs are there, then admission will be, next admission will be good. So it's a kind of a virtuous circle, virtuous loop. You do your job well, and you get brighter students. And if you have brighter students, you have to work lesser on the students. So you having a brighter students, you can motivate them to a higher level, and so on and so forth. And this is what we are concerned. So ultimately, we are, we are concerned with what? We are concerned with development, doing a job rightly, and then improving your standards so that improving the standards so that we can conform better output and ultimately
Better input.
better input, ultimately the better performance and better service to the nation, and at the same time improvement in the processes, learning, the better learning. So integrating the total system towards continual improvement and growth of the processes and of the organization. And conceptually, we come to the different requirements. So we are interested in the continuous improvement. Talked about. We are interested in the customer focus, student focus. We talked about, and we have to involve the people, teachers and the students, because until they get involved, we always say the class should be interactive. And until the students are involved, they'll get sleepy. Okay? So the students should get involved, involve the people. You have to involve everyone. Lab attendant, even a sweeper, everybody. Because if someone is not functioning, the process will not stay put. So involve the people. Then it's a system approach to management. What is a system approach to management? What is a system approach to management? I explained a little while. Process approach. The process approach is that whatever process we do must be right. दूध में पानी डालता है गोवाला, ठीक है? आजकल तो हम पैकेट लेते हैं, लेकिन दूध में पानी डालता है. So what kind of water does he put? छप्पड़ का पानी डाल रहा है, नल का पानी डाल रहा है, मिनरल वाटर डाल रहा है. मिनरल वाटर तो नहीं डालेगा, वो तो उसको महंगा पड़ेगा. ठीक है ना? तो पानी डाल रहा है, नल का पानी डाल रहा है, फिल्टर वाटर डाल रहा है. उसके घर में फिल्टर है कि नहीं है? पानी कहां से आ रहा है? पानी कहां से आ रहा है? ठीक है? आप केड़ा सल्फर वाला पानी कितने हिमाचल में, दैट काइंड ऑफ वाटर. ठीक है? फिर गर्म पानी कितने था? गर्म पानी कितने था? हाँ जी, मनी करंट. या गुड. So what kind of water? If you put water from Manikaran Gurdwara Sahib, will it add to the quality? Will it change the quality? Will it change the characteristics, inherent characteristics of the milk which is being supplied? जल्दी फट जाऊंगा, गर्म हो जाऊंगा. Until and unless there are like sulfur वाले पानी में, it is preservative. So the पानी कौन सा डल रहा है? This is important. This calls a process approach. And system approach is कि वो पानी आया कहां से? दूध से पानी पाले, वो कहना दूध से पानी पाले, पंजाबी में सॉरी वो दूध में पानी डालता है, वो कहता है दूध में पानी डाला, ये लाए पानी तो कोई बात नहीं, वो दूध में गला बोलता है साहब आप अगर आपको प्योर दूध दे दूंगा ना आपका पेट खराब हो जाएगा, तो दूध में पानी डालना जरूरी है. तो पानी कौन सा डाला है ये मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि पानी सर्टिफाई करके लाया का नहीं, उसमें लिखा होना चाहिए WHO सर्टिफाइड. इट मस्ट मीट द स्टैंडर्ड्स. पानी भी कई स्टैंडर्ड का होता है. लाइक कौन से स्टैंडर्ड है? लाइक ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, कुकिंग वाटर. कुकिंग वाटर में बैक्टीरिया चलेगा क्योंकि कुक करने के बाद शायद बैक्टीरिया ठीक हो जाएगा. ड्रिंकिंग वाटर. देन मेडिसिनल दवाइयों में जो पानी पड़ेगा. ठीक है? देन कपड़े धोने के लिए पानी. हर पानी the 5 kinds of statutory requirements for the water which are specified by the government. And then continuous improvement we talked about. Factual approach to decision making. Everything is based upon the facts. Everything is documented, everything is quantified, measured. So we call it, it is controlled. And mutually beneficial supplier relationship. The supplier, the customer, your organization, and the customer. If there should be win-win approach. If I am buying pens from you, let's say, and I'm selling it to my customer, and my customer is not satisfied, will I buy the pens from you? So your process is going, if you're dependent upon me, your industry is going to be shut. ठीक है? अगर आपको स्टूडेंट्स को नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी तो उसके बाद अगला स्टूडेंट नहीं आएगा आपके पास. क्यों नहीं आएगा? प्लेसमेंट नहीं मिलेगी तो अगला जाएगा इनके पास तो नौकरी नहीं मिलती है, यहाँ पर नहीं आएगा. So in a system, if your customer is not satisfied, your supplier will be skeptical of giving you the orders, give you the product, and the customer will not give you the orders. So these are the requirements. These are the 8 quality management principles. These are called the principles, 8 quality management principles. And I do not specify the leadership there. So everything is being controlled by the leader. You must have the right kind of leadership to inculcate these kind of requirements, set of requirements into this process. And once you do that, your management system would be complete. So these are the 8 quality management system processes, 8 quality management systems, principles. Okay, so Then we have second one is PDCA cycle, plan do check it cycle. This is given by Deming. It's essentially it was given by Walter Schieber, but then it popularized by Deming. And plan this P and do for D and check for C and act for A. Whenever you do anything, you always you want to write an essay on how. So you'll think, okay, what do I write? Where do I start from? Plan, then start doing it. Whenever you have written a letter, you write anything, you always look back. On I, you have not put the dot, T's are not crossed. So you always look back, check, and act, improvement, correction. Act is not correction, act is an improvement. Right? C is for check, it is not for correction. Act. So I'm saying that you just dot the I's and cross the T's, and then you have checked it, and then you correct it. And then you must take it to your to your process, to your brain, that I do this mistake very often. Next time I should not do it. So you resolve to improve your processes. And this is the A, act. And if we combine these two, A quality management principle and the PDCA, the right process of doing anything conceptually, then you're coming on to that model of PDCA plus QMPs, 8 QMPs, and that will make the ISO 9000 model, ISO 9000 standard model. So look at the strength of the ISO 9000 model. If you want to go for a picnic, say you want to go to Shimla, okay? What will you do? How will you start? If I say, let's go to Shimla, will you all agree? Yes, sir, we do that. Or no? We'll ask why. I have to show you a global purpose, something different. If I tell you कि मजे करेंगे, तो some ladies may not agree. घर में बहुत काम है, ठीक है? Some young people class to do, ठीक है? मैं शाम को कोर्स कर रहा हूँ, किसी में बोल रहा है कि MBA की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ. So some people, all of you will have different kind of reasons to say no. So, but until I specify that you have got a global purpose, apart from मजे करेंगे, you have something to learn from there. I want to teach you something over there. Maybe ecology, maybe plastic bags, maybe whatever, maybe just talk about how a hill station is built, planning. अंग्रेजों का प्लानिंग किया हुआ, all those kind of things, cleanliness. I will have to specify some purpose on the positive side or negative side. And so this is how the leadership will play the part. Leadership will come. Some leadership, somebody has to take on the leadership, organize things. Right? And when you have organized things, then what is required? Resources, पैसे चाहिए. खाने पीने का सामान चाहिए. You need to have a bus. You need to have a permit for the bus. They have to buy the permit and then toll tax. All those things criteria have to be taken care of. You need a first aid box. So you need resources. Then you need to drive. Now who will drive? We have a conductor. It's a compulsory to have conductor and a cleaner along with to take care of the left hand side, because that was on the right hand side. So conductor is always responsible for the left hand side of the traffic. So you always have a purpose, and then you drive, and then next time there's a learning. Yeah, don't go at 9 a.m. because we'll be reaching some place like some Phatak at 10:30 or 10:35, and a train is going to come, so you're going to waste half an hour. वो दो ट्रेन जाती है, वो बीच में एक लेट हो जाती है, तो आधा घंटा 45 minutes फाटक बंद रहेगा. All those kind of learnings here. So either go 15 minutes earlier or go 45 minutes later. ठीक है? Don't go in this time. That's a slot which is going to be time wasting for you. So you learn most of the things from there. And this is how you continue with the processes and develop your scheme so that everything is effective, cost effective, and at the same time productive, satisfying, meeting the requirements, so that you reach in time. And fractional approach to decision making. So whenever I was talking about product railway gate, so that your stopovers are all controlled, and mutually beneficial supplier relationship. It is between the supplier and the supplier means the teacher who's motivating you to do that, and your ultimate learning, which is going to be suitable, which is going to be useful for the ultimate customer where you're going to work, or for your organization when you get back. So likewise, and then PDCA is the right kind of processes, and processes also, they are relevant to the place where you work. And you need to evaluate everything. You need to control the processes. You need to evaluate. You need to monitor. You need to measure. Okay? I was talking about at the gate time wastage. How much time is being wasted. So you need to measure everything. Your system of measurement, your system of evaluation, your system of controls, everything has to be controlled the way I told you in the very beginning. That even a competence of a person who takes a reading must be controlled. Must be covered by 6.2.2. Okay? The process must follow a process. And I'm going to give you certain examples after that. So, just coming back to ISO. What is ISO? Firstly, it's not an acronym, ISO, International Standards Organization. It is actually International Organization of Standardization. International Organization of Standardization, IOS. It's called ISO because ISO is a Greek word. ISO means it's a prefix, meaning same. Isotope, isobar, isostatic, same. And ISO 9000 means it's a standard which is a globally accepted, globally prevalent standard. Almost 180 countries is prevalent in. So everybody resorts to that, and it's centered at Geneva, and it has got ISO has published 18,000 standards, and initially there were a network of 148 countries. 180 countries are deploying this standard. They're using this standard today, and there are more than there are about 10 lakh people, 10 lakh companies who are certified by ISO 9000. And this standard is it is having how many clauses? 8 clauses. First 1 to 3 they are just introductory classes. So introduction, scope, normative reference, and terms and regulations. Scope is of the organization. If I'm talking to you all, my scope is here, teaching me taught. My scope is maybe the paraphernalia which I got to control the processes, the PowerPoint presentation, the elimination system, etc. And my scope is also maybe the kind of the people who are listening to me at the remote locations. That's also part of my scope. Okay? So the scope of the organization is the part where you are going to audit. I always can say that the parts in remote locations, they are not under my scope, because I can see it done virtually in the small clips are there. But again, probably I can limit my scope. I can always say they are not in my scope. I can always include them into my scope. If I include them into my scope, then what should I do? I should have all the systems running in front of me so that I don't have to look away. They're running in front of me so that, and again the perfect communication system between them. All of them, or one of them, each of them. And it is going to be much more difficult today. So what is normative reference? The standard comes from the normative. source, and my source of ISO 9001 2008 is ISO 9000 2005, and the standard ISO 9000 2005. They were initially, 9000, 9001, 9002, 9003, and 9004 in 1987 and 94. 94, the standards came on to 3 standards: 9000, 9001, and 9004. And today, so the 3 standards are prevalent: 9000, 2005, 9001, 2008, 9004, 2009. These standards are devised in gaps. So first standard first. Terms and definitions is 9000. That one is the terms and definitions. Third part. So when I define my standard, so I define terms and definitions there. I define process approach, I define PDCA. So I define terms and definitions. So I define the scope, and I'll say normative references 2005, 9000, 2005, and 9001, 2000 standard 2000. Because ये standard वहाँ से लिया है. उसके पहले आपको normative reference में आपको reference देना है. When you write something in your paper, you attribute to attribute something to the author, so you always put the references. So you refer, normative reference is the one where you resort back to the previous version, and then you talk about the context of the organization profile. Then again, clause 5 is the leadership. Like I gave you example of making a visit. So clause 5 is leadership, clause 6 is resources, clause 7 is the product realization, the process, and clause 8 is the measurement part. So what do? We go to Shimla, you select a tour leader, financial secretary, secretary and tour secretary and financial secretary, and then transport secretary, and then logistics, and then somebody takes care of hotel there, so logistics, and somebody takes care of medical, somebody takes care of auditing and everything, and somebody takes care of food. Okay? So you assign those responsibilities amongst yourself to various people, thinking upon the competencies again. Competencies 6.2.2, competencies again, and this is how you build in a system. It's very common. What is there in it? Okay? You are having a tour, so somebody is leader, responsible for everything. Somebody is responsible for food. Somebody is responsible for hotels, making hotel arrangement. Somebody is responsible for bus route and all. Somebody is responsible for medical. Somebody is responsible for finance. So you assign the responsibilities. Okay? You have a central control with the leader. He is the CEO of the organization. You have vice president manufacturing, vice president quality, vice president finance, vice president stores. Okay? And those all the people, they are a part of the leader in their own area. And dissemination across. Even a supervisor is a leader, controlling some 10 odd foremen. A foreman is a leader, controlling 10 odd people, or three workers. Okay? The language again is different. They talk from the bottom to the top. It changes from kitni production hai to kitna customer hai. Everything is common sense. So the standard itself is a common sense. You have leaders, you have resources. Without resources, you cannot do anything. ठीक है? बस चाहिए, पैसे चाहिए, resource है. खाने का सामान चाहिए. You don't need to cook food. You need sabji, you need atta, you need all this kind of things. So raw material चाहिए आपको. And you need to work on processes चाहिए. How will you cook? How will you make tea? And then measure processes. कितनी चीनी कितनी डालनी है? चाय के पत्ते कितने डालने हैं? दूध कितना डालना है चाय बनाने के लिए? And then continue improvement. What have you gained? What have you done? अरे कल डाली थी यार, this tea is very strong. Put some less quantity. This is a measurement process, and that gives you the learning. And it's all common sense. So look at the model. We have clause 5, management commitment. Top here. I can show you some pointers somewhere. Okay, so this is our file. I should better write 5 there. Okay, I write 5 like this. So clause 5 and then clause 6 and then clause 7 and then clause 8. In the core it is maybe you can say clause 4 about the. So we integrate the PDCA in the center. Everything it has to move through plan, do, check and act. The customer needs are there. This is the customer needs. So this is product realization, means this is what you're going to work at, and this is how you satisfy the customer. Okay? So you plan something, you need to go to Shimla. You ultimately you're going to ask, क्या वो काम जो करने आए थे वो तो आपने कराया नहीं, टाइम वेस्ट हो गया हमारा, पैसे खर्च हो गए फालतू में, थक गए. There was no enjoyment and there was no work done. The objectives were served and there was no enjoyment either. So everything is a waste. ठीक है, आपकी बस इतनी खतर लगे कि रास्ते 6 घंटे लेट हो गए. ठीक है, जो प्लान किया वो सब खराब हो गया. वहां जाके होटल में पानी नहीं था, तैयार ही नहीं हो पाया आराम से. This is how the quality becomes important. Whatever your ND says, it gets you the right kind of result. And okay, so this is how we get onto this. So let's see here. We are getting into this process where we are on a standard of 2008. The standard 2008 was just a small tweaking from 2001. Small changes are there. For example, there was a change in 7.6 clause calibration. From devices it was renamed as equipment. There was the outsourced processor properly controlled, and the customer focus was better ensured there. And we have resorted to the change in the standard from quality control to quality assurance to the quality management. And incidentally, total quality control is also total quality management, because the concept, Japanese concept of total quality control and the American concept of total quality management, they coincide. But in our local understanding, when we say control, when we exercise the control, में मेरा स्टूडेंट के ऊपर कंट्रोल, मेरी बात को नहीं सुनता वो. We have that kind of mentality. But actually control has to be, at the very first sentence I said, control should be automatic. Control is something where I don't have to control. ठीक है? अगर मैं क्लास में आता हूँ, if my class is making noise, that means they're not afraid of me. That means they're not under control. बॉल खड़ा कर रहे हैं, they are not under control. So I must be able to control them, in the sense that they respond to the societal, the kind of discipline, all kind of requirements without being asked, right? So we need to, this standard had the transformation from BS, British standard 5750, to the ISO 8794 2000, 2008, 2000 and then 2008, to the present form, which is more of direction oriented, leadership oriented, and the leadership is going to strengthen. In the standard, whatever you say you do, and whatever you do, you write. Okay? In order to put this nameplate of Professor Thareja here, it has to, stand to a requirement from there. ठीक है, इतने टेबल से इतना लेफ्ट होना चाहिए, इतना राइट होना चाहिए. It has to be put this way. It should be straight, right? And these kind of requirements are specified. And if I written them, then I must repeatedly continue to do that. If I say that I should be able to finish my attendance in 10 minutes, which is a very long time, I should finish my attendance in 10 minutes, not in 15 minutes. क्लास लेने का बड़ा अच्छा तरीका है. आप क्लास में जाओ, 5 मिनट से गप्पे मारो, 15 मिनट की अटेंडेंस लो, वी हैड अ प्रोफेसर यूज्ड टू से कि 15 मिनट लेट आता था, 15 मिनट बताता था कि मैं क्यों लेट आया हूँ, 15 मिनट बताता था मैं क्यों जल्दी जाना है, 15 मिनट पहले जाना है मुझे, क्यों जल्दी जाना है. सो यू नो टाइम पास करने के तरीके हैं. सो ISO 9000 डज नॉट अलाउ दैट. Anyway, say what you do and do what you say. Write down what in a standard format. You have to weigh with respect to standard. Have you integrated continuous improvement? Have you integrated what kind of SOPs, standard operating procedures in a deploy? What kind of requirement are there? How are you going to measure processes? Measure how much have I taught? Learning integrated. So all those kind of things, they are there. And if you keep your records, then only the process is supposed to be documented conforming. If the records are not there, then you saw in the diagram, you know, everything is said and nothing is documented and everything is haywire. And you have to audit, to verify, to confirm, to say it is okay, to say it is performing. If there are some loopholes, if there are some requirements, if there are some non-conformances, if there are some issues, they have all to be resorted, and must solve them, must attend to them properly. And then top management also intervenes, leadership, the responsibility of leadership. If the principal doesn't look at the teachers, whether they're taking classes or not, somebody, 20% of the people are truants, 20% को कुछ कहना नहीं पड़ता, 20% are good. You don't have to say them anything. The college may go to haywire, but the teacher, those 20% teacher will be always taking the classes properly. Rest 20% are never going to do anything. Director वहाँ principal खड़ा हो जाए सिर पे, तब भी नहीं पढ़ाएंगे, वो कहेंगे तू मेरा कर ले जो करना. बाकी कितने रह गए? 40%. बाकी रह गए 60%. 60% 20% ऊपर वाले मिलने वाले. अगर डायरेक्टर इकट्ठा हो जाए बिल्कुल उनकी तरह हुए, ऊपर वाले 20 की तरह हुए, 20% नीचे वाले हैं. अगर सब कुछ अगर चल रहा तो हम भी चलाएंगे. बाकी 20% है बेचारे, वो तो डंडे के होते हैं. डंडा पड़ेगा तो ठीक है, डंडा नहीं पड़ेगा तो उधर है. तो दिस इज हाउ यू 80-20 apply the 80-20 rule, and then ultimately the continuous improvement has to be brought in by the top management. And once the processes are in place, then you need to assure that you continue with the process rightly, so that you assure that everything works well. So you come back to the standard. So you need to ensure that your management commitment is there. Until your commitment is there, until the director is oriented to maintain quality, to ensure that the student focus is met, to ensure that the outcomes are to be ensured, outcomes are to be the pass percent is good. One is concerned in the passing of the students. What is my result? Whether my students are getting employment or not. If these things are not being served, then nothing. Then you are probably not doing your job properly. Management commitment is lacking. Audit करने गए, गेट पे हॉर्न बजा रहे हैं, वो गेट पे दरवाजा नहीं खोल रहा. ठीक है, उसके बाद आएगा, हाँ जी की करने क्या करेंगे, हम आए ऑडिट करने के लिए. वो क्या होता है जी, हम ISO को ऑडिट करने हैं, दरवाजा खोलो. गुस्सा आ रहा है ना, दरवाजा खोलो. अभी साहब तो आए नहीं, गेट पास है, और दरवाजा खोलो, तो डर जाएगा थोड़ा. फोन करो आगे रिसेप्शन पे, तो रिसेप्शन हाँ उनको आने दो. रिसेप्शन फोन किया, उनको आने दो. गेट खुला, वहां पहुंचे, बैठिए जी. वो जो दूसरी रिसेप्शन आने वाली है मेल, अच्छा ठीक है, मैं तो वैसे बैठी हूँ. वो पूछा साहब तो जी टाइम कितना हुआ जी? टाइम 11 बजे. साहब तो जी आधे आने वाले हैं, 11:30 पर आ जाते हैं रोज. अच्छा तो ऑफिस कितने बजे खुलता है? ऑफिस 8 बजे खुलता है जी. साहब 11:30 से पहले नहीं आते, कभी कभी 12 बजे आ जाते हैं, कभी कभी 11:15 बजे आ जाते हैं, जल्दी. तो अभी 11 बज के आने वाले. उसके बाद फिर क्या हुआ? तो बाय द टाइम यू से आप क्या करने आए जी? हम ऑडिट करने. अच्छा जी आज ऑडिट है. लुक एट द अदर सिचुएशन. यू गो टू द गेट, द फेलो इज ऑलरेडी वेटिंग. यस सर. देखता बंदे उनको पता हो जाता है, वेल ड्रेस्ड, कार अच्छी है, वेल ड्रेस्ड, 3-4 लोग उनको पता है कितने लोग आएंगे. एक ड्राइवर है तो 2 लोग और हैं, तो पीछे बैठे हैं. तो शक्ल से ही पता जाता है, वैसे ठीक ठाक होंगे, पढ़े लिखे. तो यस सर ऑडिट करने आए. स्लो मारेगा, प्लीज सर रिसेप्शन में जाइए, सामने है लेफ्ट में फ्लैग लगा हुआ, आपकी वहाँ वेट हो रही है. Before the car reaches, already bell is pressed. वहाँ पे you know when I came to audit this place, तो प्रिंसिपल साहब बाहर खड़े, डायरेक्टर साहब बाहर खड़े हुए फूल लेके. तो you know that the process in place, everything is organized. ठीक है, उन्हें इस समय कस्टमर है कि कोई गेस्ट आता है उसको फूल तो प्यार से दे ही देते हैं. तो you know the auditor is moods is changed कि ठीक ठाक है यहाँ पे. दूसरी जगह पहले गर्म हो गया है, गर्म हो गया, उसको पानी भी नहीं मिलता वहाँ पे. पानी कहाँ से नलके से लेके आ रहा है सामने. तो ठीक है, वो कूलर भी नहीं है वहाँ पे. कूलर है तो कूलर में एक्वा गार्ड नहीं लगा हुआ. यू फील दैट वे कि क्या हो रहा है यार, ये कहाँ गए. ठीक है, उसके बाद वो गिलास लेके आएगा तो गिलास देखा साफ ही नहीं है. तो ऑडिटर बीमारों को जाना है यहाँ से पानी मत ही पियो. तो क्या करेगा. In order to audit, you have to start from somewhere. So you have already, the audit has already started. They already started from the gate. The audit started from the gate. फूड कंपनी में ग्लास गंदा है तो क्या है. फूड कंपनी में ग्लास गंदा है, इसका मतलब क्या है. इसका मतलब क्या है. Process
is defective.
Yeah, they don't have the culture, they don't have the attitude of cleaning the glass. तो जब आपके लिए जब किस्मत जिसको हाथ पकड़ा रहे हैं क्योंकि गिलास में रोज ही पानी कोई ना कोई तो पीता ही होगा, अगर उसके लिए वहीं पे खराब है तो बस ठीक है, समझ आ गई आपको कि दे डोंट हैव एनी सिस्टम. ठीक है. एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड इफ द फेलो इज वेयरिंग अ ग्लव इन द फूड इंडस्ट्री, वो ग्लव पहन के आता है. ठीक है, हाथ में नहीं लगाता. आप देखा होगा कि जगह पॉलिथीन का ग्लव पहना होता है वहां में, मे बी वो ग्लव से टॉयलेट में उसको ग्लव को यूज करके आया हो. You are not knowing, but at least you see the glove, you know. So the systems they work, and they don't have to be documented and shown. It shows the leadership. It comes right from the top. So leadership should be commitment होनी चाहिए हर चीज में. जो कुछ भी आप कर रहे हैं अगर उसमें आप sincere हैं, तो ये glove will be sterilized. ठीक है, a doctor would be wearing glove for him or for the patient, for both. For both, and the doctor disposes of the glove. If you don't dispose of the glove, maybe syringe it. If you don't dispose of the syringe, what is going to happen? So the things have to start right from the top, and it's top means everyone. If I'm responsible, if I'm the process owner, then जो यहाँ पानी रखा जिसने, the पानी is a process owner. उसको कोई कहता थोड़ी है आपने पानी कैसे रखा है. Knows the job कि इसको ढकाना चाहिए. बस ठीक है, नहीं ढका है तो आपने once you provide the resources and then you tell them once, train them once. Training is a prerequisite and training is a responsibility of the management. After all, हर कोई पढ़ लिख के थोड़ी आता. Training is a responsibility of leadership. Once you have a commitment, then the things are followed right through. Resources. If this cover is not available, how can it be put? So it has to be available. Resources are there. Right kind of resources. If a glass is, if you leave water here, it will get, white layer will come and it will get corroded at the bottom. Okay? It will become translucent or opaque. And then that means it has to be disposed of. It has to be either cleaned properly with some maybe acid and all, or just simply change it. Resources need to be provided. And then right way to work, right kind of SOPs, standard operating procedures, instructions, work, how a process should be done, and then measurement analysis and improvement means how to measure, how to ensure that the things are working. I mean, to what extent your all controls and your feedback, okay, reasons thereof, how do you improve, how do you correct the defects, everything will come under measurement, analysis and improvement. So you need to analyze and you need to improve. So these are the requirements. And yeah, sure. And so we'll come to the quality audits. We can have tea now and come back. Yeah. And if there are any questions, you can always ask me now and later or during the tea break also. Welcome.
So the centers we are taking a tea break. Let us reassemble at 11:30. 11:30, please. Thank you so much. I have got two announcements. The first announcement is that please click your missing attendance sheet and send the names to us by email. We can send you the
attendance properly maintain करना.
अच्छा. Please maintain the attendance properly at the centers, please. This is a request. Attendance in the morning and in the afternoon also. And secondly, the next session at 2 o'clock is on the SAR filling up. So I request all the centers to please download that SAR for the UG this engineering programs and get it this thing photocopied for all the participants so that we can discuss in detail.
All the doubts to be clear.
Yeah. So Mr. Miglani will be coming from Delhi and he will clear all your doubts. So, but you need to have the blank copy of that SAR, please. So please get it photocopied and multiplied. Thank you.
ये तो एक बजे को देंगे इधर का बुक.
हाँ ठीक है. तो चलो ठीक. वो कर देते हैं. वो हो गई है तैयार है तो करना शुरू कर दें फिर या. अच्छा चलो.
हाँ जी.
कर दें शुरू. अच्छा. Right sir.
Okay. So welcome back.